Going on? We're gonna let a few people get up in here, man. Welcome to the weekend. What's going on, Eddie? This is all you, brother. Get this party started here.
Yo, South Jersey don't play when it come to real power. This ain't your cousin's bench top trash. We talk about Danny 1, 2, 3. He the side of wizard, torch in hand, steady as truth. Tuning HGs like a surgeon, tight, clean, no loose juice. Forget that fluff from Johnny up the street. If you want true watts, Bird has certified, not cheap. Linear amps built like tanks, precision tune. He craft them like art, man, no peak watts balloon. One bird hash mark at a time. It climbed till that needle dance like it's caught in the grime. This South Jersey legend ain't selling sparkle. He's selling signal, pure, raw, and darker. So when you tired of lies, tired of peaks, call Danny 1, 2, 3, where real wattage speaks. Call it how it is. South Jersey's own Danny 1, 2, 3. Real builds, real power. No tweaker watts, just truth.
All right. All right, guys, what's happening? I'm gonna start this little show. What's going on, Rob? I don't have my glasses on. I can't see everything. Blurry to me a little bit. So, anyhow. Here we go, guys. We're coming in hot on this one. This is a 12 transistor unit, all standard 2879's. Go ahead and get the skin up on this thing. Yeah, she turned out really, really nice. I posted up some still pictures of it as I was kind of building the unit. But there you go, pretty standard stuff in here, what I got going on. Today's world. This is just a package I put together. Tried to do it as neat as possible. I think I finally got my my layout exactly how I want it. Now, after building a few of these with a different design, I changed up quite a few things how I normally do them. And I was doing those things for so many years, I got to a custom of doing it, and it was a lot of work. So this does help me quite a bit on as far as time goes on some of the fancy stuff that I do, but still, this is pretty fancy. So I have I have three 6-gauge wires coming in feeding the service. So each one of these 4-pills are seeing a 6-gauge wire, more than enough for sure. I decided to go ahead and hang the tuner bar up there. It really don't matter where that tuner bar is. You kind of want to keep it in the proximity or close to the circuit. You don't want to put it on the front of the cabinet, obviously, and run a piece of coax all the way up, but they don't have to be on the board. They can be up in the air. Now, as far as my cooling system goes, still knockout cooling system, 106 CFM a piece. So that means there's, I don't know, 422 or so, 24 CFM. That's a lot of CFM to be blowing down through here. So that said, this is a automatic sideband delay box. It does have a large cap in there. You don't have to hit any switches or anything. It will automatically just go to sideband, should be all ready to go. But remind yourself to lower your drive if you're going into sideband mode. Normally, a good rule of thumb is a little less than half of what you would normally drive into this unit if it were on AM, if you're going over to sideband. So for example, if you're hanging out somewhere right around 150, 200 watts RMS of drive to make this thing work and run it there at 200 watts. Let's take a look at, if we took 200 watts and we divided that 12 times, that gives me 16.66 watts per transistor of drive. That's a pretty good number. Now, if you go over to sideband, you're going to end up seeing those numbers, but you don't need all that drive to get it to go there, because you're not wasting any energy for an amplitude modulation or a carrier. So you're not using any energy for a carrier, so amplitude modulation. But at the end of it all, you have to remind yourself, guys, you have to back down your stuff if you're going into sideband mode. Now, if you have one driving something, don't put that on sideband, because that one transistor was set up for AM and is designed to take and drive those 4 or 6 transistors that you have inside your unit, and that could potentially overdrive the unit. So if you guys don't have your stuff set up right, you're going to find yourself having a lot of problems. I read a lot on Facebook, and people put up these posts, and I swear they just fish for drama. Do you ground an Antron 99? Well, listen, all of this stuff works off of ground. If you can't achieve and contain ground, then your equipment's not going to work right, or if it does, it's going to be causing all kinds of problems. So yeah, if you're on a base antenna, you should probably ground it. It's a smart thing to do. And also, Lightning really likes Antron 99, so that would definitely want to take and try to direct that current into earth ground versus into your house, and that's where it's going to head. So stupid questions get kind of a dumb answer, but that's the truth. You have to ground your stuff. All of this stuff works off of ground. All of this works off of coax length. That's the other great thing we read about, and people dive into that conversation on those threads, trends they call it on Facebook, and I just go back and read. And why would companies actually even decide to put out data on coax? Why don't you just say, I got a piece of wire with some shielding around it? I don't know if it's 50 ohms. Oh, it don't matter what length you make it. All of that matters. That's what they have VOP for, velocity of propagation. Everything has a reason and a rhyme to what we're doing. So if you're a guy that takes and likes apps, and they go to the app store and you upload an app to your phone, and you're playing Candy Crush, or you're playing a video game, or you're playing a casino game, or whichever, it's dumb. It's just pick it and click it. That's not CB radio. That is not ham radio. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, to what's on the bench. So when people don't buy into somebody's dumb comment, just because you know the answer don't mean that they don't know the answer. They just want to see how many people are out there that don't know the answer, and then they will never give them a proper answer. Somebody eventually will, but after a guy's wrong so many times, it kind of gives up on taking and looking for answers. But at the end, you guys can take and Google anything you want. You don't even have to know how to spell. You can hit the microphone and Google what's the VOP, or velocity of propagation, of X times coax, whichever you're trying to figure out. And it will take and give you abundance of information to read and try to understand. So keep it easy, man. Go get some 213, stub tune your coax. If you have a line section, I highly suggest you incorporate that if you're going to take and use it during your transmissions of your equipment. And then take and run a half a wavelength from your radio down to your driver, over to your driver. And then in this particular case, I'm running a quarter wavelength from my driver to this 12. And that's what it wants to see. And I run another half a wavelength off to my dummy load. So I talk about this, I say it in every video, and the reason why, because the guy that didn't watch the videos, and he comes in and he's like, oh, you didn't talk about that in that video. So I tried to take and cover them all. But at the end, I really encourage people to take and watch the videos, but truly listen to them. You will get way more information out of these videos if you literally listen. So watch it once, and then listen to it again. Just close your eyes and sit back and enjoy it. So here we go. We're going to light this thing up. I'm going to drive this with my little Texas Star. We're going to start off slow and low, and we're going to carry it on up. And then we're going to step up our voltage a bit. So I don't know how this guy's going to run it. If it's going to be in a mobile or in a base, how he's going to do that. But we're going to cover all the amperage draws, the voltages that we're at, the drive levels. I'm going to give you about maximum drive of the Texas Star as far as we can get it. And then we just kind of leave it at that. Obviously, I'm not going to make the big power out of this unit just because I'm going with a smaller driver. I eventually will build myself one and keep it here where I can take and continue to roll through these. All right, let's light this thing up. All right, we got our amp meter here. We have a voltmeter. And let's look at the slugs. 25 watt slug is going to be an input reflection. That's going to be the communications between this box here, the 12, and the little Texas Star. So that's 6 foot of coax, or that's layman's terms, or a quarter wavelength stub tuned to frequency. So I pretty much tuned all my coaxes right close to channel 20 here in the bench, but they're in the same ballpark. You don't always have to get your coax dead on. Just get them in the zip code, man. It really helps, because if you take and actually measure this coax, you will find that you're way off in a distant planet somewhere on your frequency on your coax, and it truly matters. So you guys should probably look into that, stub tuning your coax. All right, so here we go. Let's take a light and let's take a look. We're going to look at 2,500 watt, 5,000 watt slug on the digital Dave. I'm just going to leave it there. 2,500 on the analog and 5,000 on the analog and analog peaker tweaker. All right, so here we go. Let's light this thing up. Let's just look at the RMS number, set a dead key, and we're going to be hitting it right around about 50 watts or so. All right, here we go. We got movement. Let's just take and see what my input drive is. And I'm driving audio, I'm driving audio, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're hanging out right around 50, 55 watts. Now, that would be, RMS wise, that would be pretty close to striker numbers, but the peak is going to be higher than those types of radios. All right, close my eyes and drinking. All right. 1, 2 amperage, audio, 1, 2 amperage, audio, 1, 2. So we're hanging out right around 102, 104 amps. We're not making tons of power, but we're just talking on it. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, audio. So we hit 900, talking down 750 and so. Here's the peaker, tweaker. All right, 2,000 watts. 2,000 watts, peaker tweakers. All right, you got 2,000 watts, peaker tweaker audio. All right, that's what itty bitty drive. Audio, itty bitty drive. Now let's see what the peak was on the drive. Peaker tweaker drive. I don't think your striker can do 350 or 300. All right, so moving on up here, 2,500 analog. And audio, 2,500 audio, 750, 850, somewhere right in there. Let's look at analog 5,000 audio. All right, so we're all good. Let's double up, go up about halfway up, all the way up actually on the low side of Texas Star. Take a look at our amperage. Audio. Try that again. There we go. Audio. 137, 138. What happened to my drive? I should be right around 100. Top scale. Each line's 5 watts. And there we go. Audio. So 100, 105. Input reflection. Let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 3/4 or so. And what happened here? We just increased our RMS drive. It doubled up. Let's see if we can make more RMS. Audio. So you can make your 1,200, 1,250 at this voltage and this amperage with the driver. Audio. That's 100 watts of drive. Pretty doggone happy at 100 watts of drive. You probably go out there and have a real good time. 100 watts of drive RMS. Audio. All right, let's see what the peak is. I'm on the low side. Tweak it. I come up a little bit. You have about 200 watts I picked up. So that said, when did I pick up on my peak on my driver? Probably nothing. Audio, a little bit, about 150. So we're at 300 before, so about 150. So if you were to take and say, I'm at 100 watts of drive at 12 pills, and you divide that 12, you're only at 8.3 watts per transistor driving. You could go out there and just talk. You're gonna have a lot of airtime. Now, you're at almost your maximum peak with this much peak going into it. And I'm going to increase my drive now, and we're going to take and check those numbers out. So let's end it with this one here real quick. Tweaker, 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 2200 RMS, audio, 1200 watts, 1250, we'll make sure, 5000 scale, yes, we're correct. And let's look at our amperage. Audio, 135, 137. Now, we're going to go and move on up to the Texas Star high side. And let's take it, stop here, and look at the amperage. Hello, radio 154. Input drive level. I'm on the high side of the Texas Star now. Input drive level. Each line is 5 watts. You're looking at top scale. Audio. So we're making 135 watts. We'll go 135. Barely driving these things. 11.25 watts of drive per transistor. Input reflection audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A little over a 2. Let's see what RMS is. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1400 there. Let's look at this 2500 analog up here. 5000, I'm sorry. Center scale, each line's 100. Audio. So we're hanging out right around 1350, 1400. Audio. Pretty much the same across the board. Let's see what this peaker tweaker says. Peaker tweaker analog. Analog, peaker tweaker, audio 1, 2, 1, 2. Show me about 21, 22 there. Let's look at the digital peaker tweaker, audio. So I maxed out. I maxed that out on the peak right about the 100 watt mark drive, just because I just didn't have any more voltage, any more RMS or any more peak drive to feed this thing. So the only way now I can increase that level, nice, cool. Only way I can increase this at this point is just simply feed it some more voltage. I have about 3/4 of a volt more, and we will see an increase. So just remember, we stopped somewhere right around 2250, 2400, somewhere in there, 2350, somewhere right in there. Turn on a power supply here. We're going to change these cables out, and we'll take and give it another rep. All right, here we go. All right, moving on up. So now we're hanging out. That's what you drive. Trying to make my screen a little bigger. There we go. All right, here we go. And this is my drive. Audio. All right, so we hit 145 now. All right, well, 145, we'll have my input reflection audio. Still hanging out right around that 2, 2.5. And here is a 2500 scale. Each line's 50 watts. Top scale. All the drive I got. Audio. So, at 15, 16. Let's see what the digital says. Audio. 15 there. Let's see what the peaker tweaker 2500 peaker tweaker, not quite there on that one. So it's just a reference. But if we take and look, go back here and take a look. Audio 140. Do a full load at 140. Now you're only at 11.6 watts per transistor. Still not driving them very hard, and that's a good thing. Here's your amperage. Audio 166 at the cable. Audio 156, about 10 difference there. So at the cable, I normally trust at the cable. That over there is a reference for me normally. All right. So take a second here. Find my girl. Where's Molly at? Where you at, Molly? Hi. What are you doing, honey? How's things? You being good? Molly. Hey, you being good? You waving? You gonna wave? Yeah, you good girl? You want this? Tell me hello. Tell everybody hello. Molly, say hi. You say hi. Hi. You say hi. Don't worry about the TV over there. Ready? There you go. So what's up? What you do today? You good girl? Yeah? What happened? Uh-huh. Did you see the kitty? Was he big? He's a big... Come here. Get over here. You sit. Tell me about it. Was it a big kitty? Yeah? Sit. I know you're so excited. You gonna wave to everybody. Hey, Molly, say what's up? You gonna sit pretty? You sit pretty for me. Sit pretty. Sit pretty. Come on up here. Come on. Sit pretty. It's my girl. There you go. You're a good girl, Molly. You say hello to everybody. Welcome to the weekend. Yeah? Yeah. So, as we all know, the United States got slammed across the country with tornadoes and softball-sized hail. Gotta reach out to everybody out there in Kankakee and Indiana and Ohio that got tore up. Michigan. I think it was Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois that really beat up a couple days ago. So, I wish them all well. All the families lost a lot. Some people lost everything they had. So, guys, life ain't that bad. So there's your box. Turned out really nice. Yeah, I'm hitting with low drive. Nothing wrong with it. Now someone's gonna ask, what would be a good matchup for this box? A straight 4 transistor unit, any of them. 4 1446s, 4 2290s, 4 454s, 4 421s, 4 2879's. That would be a very nice selection of drive. Depending on the radio that you have is how you should probably pick your driver. Now, the guys that have dual final radios and such, a lot of times those radios will work great with one amplifier behind them. Not so much and not always with 2. Like I'm running it right here. I'm running my Cobra 29 into my Texas Star, and it comes down to here. 2 amplifiers, 1 radio with a single final. So if you start dealing with these dual finals, and a lot of guys are dealing with them, and a lot of guys are creating their own problems. So if it don't always work, you might always kind of want to go back to that grab bag and get that pretty good Cobra 29 or Cobra 2000 or Cobra 148 or a unit in Grant XL, whatever. Single finals, they work great. So, and while I was mentioning about the transistors before, 1446s, 2290s, and 454s, they truly don't need a lot of drive. 2879's and 421s, yes, you can take and put a little bit of drive into those, and they'll get up and do the boogie. But at the end, you just have to know, how far can I go? How far can I go if I had, let's say 19 watts, and we'll divide that 12, let's see. That's 11.8, and it can't be. All right, let's look at it this way. So let's just talk about this. Let's say we had 200 watts of drive. We're going to divide that 12 times. That's 16.66 watts of drive. That's 200 watts RMS, not peak, not average RMS, true bird RMS. All right, that's 16 watts pill. That's really happy. You can go a little bit more. You can say I got 225 watts. Divide that at 12. This is where it gets into your headroom really quick. You just went from 16 to 18 with a 25 watt increase of drive. So, kind of be careful. That's why I said, what matches up pretty good with this? A darn good 4-pill. Something that can get you around 200 watts, maybe a touch over. Heck, 180, that's a pretty happy number. 180, a lot of 4-pills do 180. Divide that at 12. That's 15 watts of transistor. You're gonna go out there and have a good time. But mind you, standing wave is the #1 killer other than the wrong length jumper to these HG-2879's, as far as that goes, to any transistor on the market today or in the past. Standing wave is your #1 killer on top of heat. Jumper length definitely matters. It's going to take and cause problems that you won't even see because you're not monitoring it. So if you don't have the means to monitor what you have, take my really good suggestion and run your coax phase angles like I show in these videos. It's either going to be a half wave or a quarter wave. but you're always going to have a half wave coming out of your radio feeding something. After that, depends on the size of the box. 8 pills and down, like to see a half wave across the whole system. 12 pills and above, like to see a half wave feed to the driver, then a quarter wave feeding from the driver to the bigger box. After that, it runs off to your antenna. If it's a base antenna, cut your coax to the right length, tune your antenna a whole lot better. It'll be a lot easier to tune it. Same dealio with the trucks. If you're dealing with a truck and you have a line section, you run it all the time, incorporate it. Don't forget that step, because that will put you in a whole different set of frequencies when you go to stub tune these things. So if you just take your coax and tune it, say, oh, I forgot my line section. You're going to have to redo that pigtail on the end. And you're going to have to lop off probably about anywhere from 3 to 5 inches. So it's really important that you guys do the steps and do them correctly. I put these videos out there to help the general public to take and be able to understand a little bit better than what Tommy or Johnny or Lucy told them. So hopefully all the information I share with you guys are setting in and hitting home, and you are seeing and trying these tests and seeing a positive result. So feed line is a big part of this. Look at a feed line or a jumper just like the veins in your body. What happens when your veins in your body gets clogged up, man? They got to cut legs off and all kinds of bad stuff happens. Same thing here. If it ain't getting the proper flow, it's not going to go. It's just going to stay in there, and it's going to cause itself self-destruct from the inside out, and it will eat itself alive. And the first thing it gets eaten up in these amplifiers are and is the HG-2879, all the HG transistors, all of them. This is just a blunt statement. I'm not telling a lie, but if you feed these things wrong, you take away the HFE immediately when you feed them wrong. When you overdrive them, you take away the HFE. Why do they break? Because they couldn't do it anymore. They couldn't handle it. They literally have a nervous breakdown and blow up. And the amplifier literally tells on the guy that blew it up, because then I'll measure all the parts on a repair and check the neighbors. And when the gains are so low, I say, yeah, you killed this poor little amplifier. Now we have to put all new transistors in it. It's not my fault. It's you guys' fault. I'm trying to give you guys all very good direction on how to run your equipment. So the best advice I can give you is get it right. It's not hard. You just got to follow a handful of rules. And that's about the amount of that. Where's Molly at? Molly, come here. I got a couple more treats for you. Oh, there you are. You're right behind me, aren't you? What you doing? How are you? How are you? Did you like the video? Was it good? Was it good? Oh, something. Yeah? You like that? It was all right. You gonna wave? Give me a wave. Yeah? Whoop. There you go. You got that, huh? Good stuff. So, what are you gonna do this weekend? Huh? You gonna get some? Hey, you gonna get treats? You gonna chase that kitty, aren't you? You gonna sit? You gotta sit now. You gotta sit. You gonna sit? You ready? You gonna catch it? Ooh, ooh, you missed. Well, what do you think, Molly? Ready? Are we ready to do it? What do you think? You gonna say goodbye? You gonna sit? You gonna sit for a second. You gonna sit? Molly, sit. Gonna wave bye-bye. All right, you're such a good girl. Thanks for joining. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Have a great weekend. 860, I got a shout out to you, my friend, man. You've got something going on with that broadcast newscaster. I really enjoy that. It's so cool. You can hear all the skip conditions, because that's the real part of it, and then all the hocus pocus with the operators throughout the country. That is a great thing, giving guys shout outs. So good job, 860 up there in the mountains. Thank you very much. There you go, guys. 12879 12 transistor unit ready to go. Yes, this has black B+ wire. Here's your ground, 3/8 stud going into it. Everything's got grease on it. You can see it. See the grease? I got it on there. Everywhere it's important. Sure is. So there you go, guys. I'm sliding out of here. Molly's ready to go get the kitty. Aren't you, Molly? Huh? Yeah, you gonna get that kitty, Molly. All right, guys, take care. God bless. Thanks for watching. Really enjoy doing these builds. Don't get me wrong, I'm not yelling at nobody in here, man. I'm just trying to say, get your stuff rolling right, and you're not gonna have those terrifying breakdowns. And if you ship your stuff across country, pack it good. Don't depend on the guys getting minimum wage to put your junk in a box with 2 pieces of paper and expect it to live. I have some crushed amplifiers behind me and it breaks my heart. Alright guys, I'm out of here. God bless. I'm gone. There you go, guys. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the weekend. I am out of here. God bless.